Imagine a man so powerful that his voice alone made empires uncomfortable. Imagine a leader who carried no sword, commanded no army, yet struck fear into injustice with every word he spoke. Because when truth is spoken with courage, words become weapons and no chains can stop them. He was born into a world that decided his worth before he ever spoke his first sentence. A world that taught him silence was survival, obedience was safety, and dreams were dangerous. Everywhere he looked, systems were built to keep people like him invisible, voiceless, and obedient. But something inside him refused to accept that fate, while others learned to bow. He learned to listen, while others were taught fear. He taught himself understanding. And slowly, quietly, he realized something life-changing. The greatest prison was not the chains on the body, but the silence forced on the mind. He discovered language not as a subject, but as liberation. Words gave him clarity. Words gave him confidence. Words gave him power. And once he understood that power, he knew it was something no oppressor could ever truly take away. His voice became his shield. His ideas became his armor. His speeches became his battlefield. When he stood before crowds for the first time, people expected anger. They expected rage. They expected bitterness. What they got instead was truth, sharp, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. He spoke with calm intensity, with logic sharpened by lived experience, with emotion guided by purpose. He didn't scream to be heard. He didn't beg to be understood. He spoke as someone who knew he was right, and that confidence alone shook the foundations of injustice. Each speech peeled away lies that have been passed down for generations. He challenged comfortable hypocrisy. He exposed moral contradictions. He asked questions people were afraid to answer, and then he answered them anyway. He forced listeners to confront truths they had spent their lives avoiding, and in doing so, he awakened something dangerous to oppressive systems: awareness. The world tried to dismiss him. Some said he spoke too boldly. Others said he was too intelligent to be trusted. Many tried to silence him with threats, ridicule, and fear. But he understood something critical. When resistance grows louder, it means the message is landing. Silence would have meant failure. Opposition meant progress. So he spoke more, louder, sharper, smarter. He refined his message, strengthened his arguments, and delivered truth with precision. His words traveled faster than chains ever could. They crossed borders, entered homes, ignited conversations, and planted seeds in minds that had never questioned the status quo. His speeches did what violence never could. They changed hearts. He taught people that dignity is not granted by permission, it is claimed by courage. He showed that freedom begins with belief, and belief begins with understanding. And he made it clear that neutrality in the face of injustice is not peace, it is participation. What made him powerful wasn't just what he said, but why he said it. He didn't speak to be famous. He didn't speak to be praised. He spoke because silence would have been betrayal of himself, of his people, of generations yet unborn. He understood that leadership is not about comfort, it's about responsibility. And when you know the truth, responsibility demands you speak it. There were moments of exhaustion, moments of fear, moments when the weight of expectation felt unbearable. But every time doubt crept in, he remembered why he started. He remembered the faces of those who had no platform, no microphone, no audience. He spoke for them, and through him, millions found their voice. His speeches became blueprints for courage. They taught people how to think critically, how to challenge injustice intelligently, how to resist without losing humanity. He proved that words, when sharpened by truth and delivered with conviction, can dismantle systems built on lies. And here's what makes his story timeless. He wasn't extraordinary because of where he started. He was extraordinary because of what he chose to do with his voice. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for safety. He didn't wait for perfect conditions. He spoke when it was dangerous. He spoke when it mattered. And now, this story turns to you. You may not stand on a grand stage. You may not address massive crowds, but make no mistake, your words matter. Your voice matters. Every conversation you have, every truth you defend, every injustice you refuse to normalize carries power. Silence has never changed history. courageous speech has. You don't need to shout. You don't need to threaten. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be honest. You need to be bold. You need to be willing to stand by your values even when it costs you comfort. Because when you speak truth consistently, clearly, and courageously, you become dangerous to systems that thrive on fear. Use your voice wisely. Use it deliberately. Use it to educate, to uplift, to challenge, and to inspire. Because words shape reality, ideas build futures, and voices, brave voices, change the world. A leader using speeches as weapons doesn't destroy lives. He frees them. He doesn't dominate minds. He awakens them. And history will always remember those who chose courage over silence. So speak. Even when your voice shakes. Speak. Even when you stand alone. Speak. Because someone, somewhere, needs to hear what only you can say. And if this story ignited something within you, if it reminded you of the power you carry, then don't let it stop here. Like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to this channel for more stories that fuel courage, awaken purpose, and remind us all that when words are used as weapons of truth, they can never be defeated.